The numbers don't lie unless you lie about the numbers. When you're doing research on moving to a new area or doing research on anything, you want to know, based off of the numbers, how can I help make my decision? There's no doubt that there's uncertainty in the real estate market, from home prices to mortgage rates. After watching this video, you will gain certainty with accurate information to have a richer understanding from a question that I get asked all the time: Anthony, how's the market? While I'm answering that question, I'll also be dispelling 3 major beliefs that I hear people that are moving to the area have about our market and the market in general. Would you agree there's a difference between reading something and actually reading it and comprehending it? Myth number 1 that I'm hearing from people moving to the area is house prices are going down. Yes and no. One thing people believe when they hear that is market is going down, the housing prices, the houses are tanking, and that's not the case. Imagine, if you will, you're driving down the highway at 120 miles an hour. Now, I know none of you would ever do that. I may or may have not gotten pulled over the other day. You're driving down the highway at an accelerated speed, 120 miles an hour. And then you finally slow down because of a cop or what have you. You slow down to a normalized rate, 65, 75 miles an hour. It's going to feel like you're stopping, when in reality, you're still headed in the right direction, just at more of a normalized or legal rate of speed. That's what's happening now, is we're finally normalizing through inflation, through interest rates. I'm not a lender, but through those things, I'm not an economist either, but through those things, we're seeing a normalizing of the market, where things slow down to a normal rate of speed. And that's what interest rates going up has done, has caused people to kind of retract and hold on for a second. But we're not stopping, and we're still going in the right direction. And in Bentonville, home prices are not going down. Take a look at this chart with me, if you will. You're looking at the years 2020 through 2023, and we're looking at the line that says price of home. 2020, the average home in Bentonville sold for just over $300,000. Now looking forward to 2022, let's just jump ahead a couple years. Now we're looking at $452,031 was the average sale of a home in Q1 of 2022. Now let's compare it to this year. Home prices have actually gone up nearly $16,000. So home values are still going up. So another thing that I'm hearing people misinterpret, or they're taking one saying and they're bringing it over to another, is that home prices are going down, when in reality, home sale numbers are going down. So let's go back to our chart. It's showing you Q1 from 2020 through 2023 again. The average amount of homes that were sold in those quarters was 2,572. In 2023, we saw 19% less. There were only 2,093 homes that sold in Northwest Arkansas. Now, getting specific to Bentonville alone, the average of those previous 3 years was 351 homes that had sold. In Q1 of 2023, we saw only 301 homes sell. That's 14.25% lower than what the last 3 years average is. So yes, the amount of home sales is less, but the price of homes are still increasing here in Northwest Arkansas. It's very important for you to know the difference between your local market and the market here. Just because national news is saying one thing does not mean that it's happening here in Northwest Arkansas. You can do your research, as you are right now, but Google Northwest Arkansas. It's been on top 10 lists for the last, I don't know how many years, as far as fastest growing areas of the country. So like similar to Nashville, similar to Austin, Texas, Northwest Arkansas is continuing to grow at a rapid rate. One story I heard recently, and I've heard it multiple times, is, Anthony, we're moving from a different area and we're coming to your area. We've been watching on Zillow and Realtor, and we're seeing that home prices are coming down. Okay, bear with me for a minute. There are still people that are pricing their homes as if it is 2021 or 2022. They think it's a super, super hot seller's market, when in reality, it is still a seller's market. More on that in a moment, in another myth. But it is still a seller's market, but people are still pricing their homes $600,000 when really they should be pricing it at $550,000. So yes, home prices are coming down in that regard because the late adopters, the laggards, are finally realizing that the market isn't as hot as it used to be. So they're bringing their home down and we're seeing price reductions. At the time of the shooting of this video, there were 243 homes available in Bentonville, Arkansas. Yes, I'm getting specific because that's how we can interpret data with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. 243 homes available, and 30% of them, 30% have had price reductions. That's 73 homes. Now, I want to draw your attention to new construction. New construction in our area drives a lot of these numbers and can skew the data. We'll be doing this again in another myth, but we have to pull out and understand that half of those price reductions were from new construction. What had happened was a builder put their home on the market months ago, and then fast forward, here comes time, the market changes, interest rates change, buyer demand changes, what have you, and they have to lower the price, okay? So price reductions, yes, there are some. Are they happening in existing construction? Are they happening in new construction? Are they happening in the price point of the homes in which you're looking or shopping? That's very important to point out and very important to know when you partner with a realtor looking for your next home. Have you ever heard the phrase, I promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God? Where did that come from? Why is that? What does that remind you of? It reminds you, I would think, of a courtroom to where the jury needs to hear the witness say, I'm telling you not just the truth, but the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So that's the same when we're looking at numbers, because if you're looking at the numbers and not knowing the whole truth and nothing but the truth, you may be interpreting a completely different story. Here's an example. I saw a chart recently that said the new home construction in Cave Springs, which is a couple towns south of me, new home construction was averaging $420,000 for new homes. And then the next chart said the following month that new construction was $360,000 for new homes. So if you don't know the whole story and don't realize that it's not the same home every time, that the house isn't the same, that the yard size isn't the same, one would believe, be led to believe, that new construction from month 1 to month 2 has gone down $60,000, when in reality that isn't the case. But my friends, that's what happens when people don't tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about the numbers that we're looking at here. Homes are sitting on the market. What does that make you think of when you hear homes are sitting on the market? To me, it says things are stagnant. Homes aren't selling. I've got time. My friend, you don't have time, and I'm going to talk about that with days on market. Have you ever heard that phrase? How many days on market was that house? So depending on where you're coming from and depending on how local market information is derived from your MLS, how it is here in Northwest Arkansas is once the home goes on the market to the time that it is closed, as in closing, the closing happens, it is now transferred onto the new person, that's when, or new entity, that's when the amount of days on market are calculated. Let's take a look at our trusty dusty chart. The last 3 years, the average days on market for 2020 through 2023 went from 118 down to 87, down even further in 22 to 84, and then popped back up in 2023 to 124 days on market. 124 days on market, that's 4 months. Yeah, that's a long time. But did actually the home sit on the market for 124 days? What I want to make sure that you understand is there is another piece in there that a lot of people don't talk about, is the amount of time that it was pending. So from on the market date to contract date is one section to focus on, and then from once it's under contract to close is another segment to talk about. So let me pick that apart for you. The 124 days on market, there were 55 days before the home went under contract, then 69 days until those homes close. So now you're saying, okay, 55 days on market, that's still a month, month and a half, right, Anthony? Yes, but we need to go back and look at new construction again, because earlier I had alluded to contractors are putting their homes on the market and they're not actually closing for a longer time, because here's what they're doing. Putting the home on the market as a to-be-built property. So you go drive to this property, it looks on, you see a rendering online, you get there, and it's a blank piece of land. Then a month or two later, it's finally, they've got some framing up. Then a month later, now it's something that a consumer can go in and walk through and take a look at and put under contract. Then it goes to closing. So some of these 124 days that are calculated in here are from homes that were put on the market, some of them 400, 150, 250 days ago. Earlier, I had told you in Bentonville, in Q1, there were 301 homes that had sold. There were 165 of them that were closed out, that were new construction. So once we take out those new construction homes and we just look at what did the existing home market, what happened there, the days on market for existing homes was 68 days with 34 days to contract and 34 days until close. So 68 days on market's a lot better than 124, would you agree? And now that we're looking at only 34 days on market, that tells you you don't have as much time as you might think in order to find the right property. They're moving, and they're moving quickly, my friend. They're not sitting on the market as some people might believe. Now, I went a step further for you because this is something also that's very important to know is, are you looking at homes from $0 to $3 million? No, you're probably not. You're probably 300, or you're probably 700, or you're probably in one of these price brackets. So from $0 to $500,000, those homes are getting under contract in 22 days. Homes that are $500,000 to $1 million are getting under contract in 55 days. And homes that are $1 million plus are going under contract after 65 days. So what does that tell us? That tells us, depending on what price range you're looking, it appears as though the higher the price range, the longer days on market. So hear me loud and clear, just because you're in that 500 or $1 million, maybe you're at the 900,000 or maybe you're at the 501,000, doesn't mean that every home is going to be under contract in 55 days. Could be longer, could be less. Again, we're talking about some averages here, but helping you wherever that hits you, wherever that hits home for you, that might give you a better understanding of how things are moving in the price range in which you're looking for. We're here going into Q2. It's April, and what we have seen year in and year out is home sales go up in the spring, peak out a little bit in the summer, and then fall off once school starts. It doesn't go down to nothing, but who wants to move when it's dark and cold outside? So we always see this ramp up. So when people are reading the news and they're hearing homes are sitting on the market, they tend to do so a little bit longer, coming out of the winter months into spring. And then once we start getting into spring and summer selling season, when the majority of people move, yeah, homes are going to sit on the market a little bit longer than what they typically do. So when you're seeing that data, please understand that as we move into spring, part of those in my predictions is as we move into the latter part of spring, early part of summer, days on market are going to go down. Homes aren't going to sit on the market as long. Let's talk about supply and demand for a second. Simple economics, right? We learned that in either high school or maybe you went to college. We learned that when supply is high, demand is low. And when supply is low, demand is high. That's what drives prices to go even higher. Here in Northwest Arkansas, let's talk about the days or months of supply. Now, months of supply are calculated by the amount of inventory that's available, by the amount of the average amount of sales that take place. So if you take the amount of inventory that's available in Northwest Arkansas, we have about 2.62 months of supply, meaning if no more homes were put on the market today, it would take about 2.5 months until all of those homes are sold. It's not a lot of inventory. Would it shock you to know that based off of U.S. Census Bureau data that between Benton and Washington County, but here in Bentonville, we're in Benton County, and then you got Washington County. In Benton and Washington County, there is a net of 30 people moving here daily. So people can move away. They're netting 30 new people a day. That's nearly 11,000 people a year moving to Northwest Arkansas. Let's talk about Bentonville specifically. Bentonville specifically, the days or months of supply, is around 2.2 months of supply. So stop listing houses today. It's going to take less than 2.5 months, 2.2 months for the amount of homes that are on the market to be sold and gobbled up. So there you have it. With statistics and facts, we've just busted myth number 2. But before we go on to myth number 3, I'd like to direct your attention here at the top. If you're doing your research and haven't seen this video yet, it's about the cost of living in Northwest Arkansas. We know through some real quick research that Arkansas is one of the cheapest states to live in the United States. But as you do some research and see, I go into the details. I get nerdy, just like in this video, about actual costs of what it is to live in Northwest Arkansas, to live in Bentonville, if you're looking to do research on that. All right, myth number 3 is I can lowball an offer. I mean, yes, you probably could. I wouldn't recommend it, especially on a house that you absolutely love. A client of mine sees this house, $850,000. Is it worth $850,000? That's for your realtor to go and find out. We might not have a lot of time to do all that research. 850 grand. Now, they wanted to offer 800, and I'm like, we need to go and find out, how did the seller price the home? What is their pricing strategy? Did they price it high and hope to have somebody come in and offer so they have room to negotiate? It's a bad strategy, by the way. Or did they list it below market and going to get a ton of attention on it to where we shouldn't go less than list price? Maybe we should even consider finding out, are there any other offers? But consider, do we need to go above list price? That's a strategy to find out where that home specifically is. So we've talked about house prices dropping. We've talked about adoption of a correct pricing strategy. We've talked about days on market. So with all of those things coagulated, codified together, if you will, can you offer less than list price? Absolutely. Now I'd like to direct you back to a chart that we saw earlier. The numbers were there. Maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. But when I broke down the specific price points, how many days on market, let's go back to that. So 0 to $500,000. 98.2. What that number means is that 98.2% to list price. So if somebody lists their home for $500,000, they might get, on average, about 2% off. And then the 500 to a million range, 95.8% to list price. So if somebody lists it at $750,000, you take off 5%. That's kind of where those are hitting. But again, it depends pricing strategy per house. And again, now we're seeing, if you're asking me, Anthony, can I lowball a 1.2 or how about a $2 million house? Can I take off 5%? Now there might be some wiggle room in there. Maybe. It depends. I wouldn't recommend, especially on a home that you really like, to lowball an offer. Let's find out where the strategy is. Let's find out, let's do some comparables. Allow and trust your realtor to do some homework and find out what is their pricing strategy. Maybe they are astronomically high and they're just hoping somebody will throw an offer out there. I've had people do that. Doesn't work out very well. So the short answer is no, I wouldn't recommend lowballing on an offer. If you look up the term lowball in the dictionary, it actually talks about lowball, and speaking of baseball, below the knees, if you will. But in terms of an offer, a lowball offer is unrealistic. That's what it's defined as. So are you wanting to realistically put in offers, or are you wanting to unrealistically? I would hope that when partnering with an agent, you're going to make sure that you're realistically putting in offers based on where the market is. Have your agent do a market analysis on the property or a broker price opinion. One thing some clients say, they're like, Anthony, I love the house. I love where it's located. I love everything about it. But man, you know, what's really holding me back is that price. If it was this price, I'd be all over it. I'm like, yeah, you and about 50 other people. So it's priced where it is because this is the seller's strategy. So myth number 3, can I lowball an offer? I really wouldn't recommend it, my friends. Not here in Northwest Arkansas, and definitely not in Bentonville either. All right, so we've dispelled the belief of house prices are coming down. We've dispelled the belief of homes are sitting on the market. We've dispelled the belief of I can lowball an offer. We've done that with statistics and local information that helps you understand our local market here in Northwest Arkansas that could be vastly different than wherever you might be coming from. Now, let's talk about where we're headed. What's going to happen in Q2 of 2023 here in Northwest Arkansas? My predictions, I think, I'm not a lender, I'm not an economist, but I think mortgage rates are going to start to top out and buyer pool is going to come back, and people are going to realize, people are already starting to realize, rates are what they are. My dream is to get a home. My dream isn't to have a mortgage. My dream is to have a home. So if I need to get over that 6 or 7 or 8%, whatever the mortgage rate might be at that time, talk with your lender, but whatever that might be, that gets me to my goal of buying the house, okay? So I believe that days on market are going to be less in Q2. I believe there's going to be more multiple offers. I believe that people are going to be offering more than list price with some type of cash guarantee above appraisal. I believe people are going to have, sellers are going to have more control, even more so than they already do. So it's going to feel a little bit like 2021 and 2022, Going into Q2, as again, this time of year, we start to see more people moving this time of year now that it's springtime and it's time to get out and about and it's time school is done and kids are moving, what have you. We're going to see more competition. We're going to see less days on market. We're going to see prices continue to go up. Not as quick of an appreciation as we have in the past. That's what I see happening in Q2 of Northwest Arkansas. Thanks again for watching. Now you know a little bit more about what life is like in Bentonville.